Skip the flashy modern machines and the supercars rumbling on the street. Today, the engine history invites you to linger in the workshop and take a close look at the heaviest, pure mechanical engines in history. We're not here to talk about speed. We're here to compare pulling force, stubborn endurance, and brutally practical design. Today's lineup runs from slow-hammering single-cylinder stationary engines to a massive V12 built to carry a tank. Check the specs, listen to the sound, and pick the most formidable block of cast iron and steel for yourself. Fairbanks Morse, 10 horsepower, and the hit and miss mechanism. We start with a 1920s Fairbanks Morse 10 horsepower stationary engine. This machine was built to stay in one place and do the work. Plow through jobs, run water pumps, drive workshop line shafts. Its biggest value is the hit and miss mechanism. It doesn't fire continuously. When RPM drops, it hits and fires. When momentum is enough, it cuts ignition and lets the flywheel coast. The firing beat is sparse and clattery, but it is insanely fuel efficient and extremely durable. Next to it is the 40 horsepower version, a bigger body, slow speed, borrowing inertia from a massive flywheel to crush every choke point in the machinery behind it. Root and Vandervoort, 2 horsepower, maximum practicality. Talking about heavy stationary engines means you have to mention the Fairbanks Morse 40 horsepower Model NB. Thick one-piece casting, no show parts. Only the core mechanical essentials to work non-stop. That same spirit shows clearly in the 1912 Root and Vandervoort Triumph 2 horsepower engine. Compact, built to be carried out to the field to run a water pump. Its mechanical governor is smart in a simple way. Only ignite when the momentum is short, release when momentum is plenty. Early mechanics looked rough, but the thinking was deep. Anything unnecessary gets cut. Tatra 815 V12 diesel, ditching water for air. Now we shift to industrial diesel, and the Tatra 815 is genuinely impressive. A V12 layout with 17.66 liters of displacement. The core difference is this: it is fully air-cooled. Tatra engineers threw away the complicated radiator system so the engine could survive in dust-choked rock pits and freezing conditions. No leaks also means no freezing. Tatra doesn't try to intimidate with noise. It convinces you with tight sealing, toughness, and the ability to be pushed hard without demanding complicated maintenance. Detroit 8V71, the two-stroke sound. Next comes the Detroit Diesel 8V71, introduced in 1957. A two-stroke V8 diesel at 9.3 liters, making around 350 horsepower. The numbers aren't the whole story. What made this engine famous is the sound. High RPM, a piercing shriek like a metal cutting saw, the signature Detroit note. It uses a blower to push intake air straight into the cylinders. Clean burn, fast exhaust. It drinks oil and it is loud, but in return, layout. To run in Detroit is to accept the noise. Detroit 6V53 and a modded 1936 Chevy. The smaller Detroit 6V53 is a two-stroke V6 at 5.2 liters. Smaller body, same bad-tempered personality. Put that kind of engine into a 1936 Chevy pickup shell and you get an extreme build. The builder has to cut the firewall and reshape the floor just to make room for a turbocharged Detroit 3-53T 3-cylinder with a supercharger-style blower system. This is not restoring a classic truck for display. This is an old truck frame, forced to endure the twisting torque and ear-splitting shriek of an industrial power plant. Flathead V8, a classic mechanical foundation. If you're reviewing engines and you skip the Ford Flathead V8, that's a serious omission. A build from the 59 AB block proves its toughness. An 88 distributor head, Davis ignition, a counterweighted crankshaft, larger water pumps, a Rochester carburetor. Oil pressure rises when hot. Temperature stays extremely stable. Compression is very high. A 1950 build mates it to a C4 transmission, runs a stroker crank. 1951 8BA version keeps the legendary side valve layout. Not chasing horsepower numbers, the Flathead wins mechanics over with stubborn durability and easy tuning. Radial W670, from the sky down into the mud. Now we shift perspective to radial engines. Cylinders are spread in a circle around the crankshaft, air-cooled, excellent power-to-weight ratio. The representative here is the Continental W670. 7 cylinders, 668 cubic inches, 250 horsepower at 2,400 revolutions per minute. Built in 1934 for aircraft, but history pushed it into the engine bay of the M3 Stuart tank in World War II. From catching wind in the sky, it had to bite mud, swallow gun smoke, and pull steel tracks through war ground. One of the most versatile engine blocks in history. GM 6046 and Chrysler A57, combined engines. In wartime, there's no time to design from scratch, so engineers combine what already exists. The General Motors 6046 twin diesel is one example. They joined 2 Detroit 671 two-stroke engines to drive a single output shaft. 14 liters, 410 horsepower, more than enough to shove the Sherman M4A2 tank forward. Even wilder is the Chrysler A57 Multibank. 5 Flathead inline-6 engines combined into a 30-cylinder cluster. 20.5 liters, bulky and packed with plumbing, but its 425 horsepower solved the battlefield problem of not having enough pulling force. AV1790 and Maybach HL230 tank power. We close the list with two heavy steel hearts. The Continental AV1790 in the M48 patent. A gasoline V12, air-cooled, nearly 30 liters, over 800 horsepower, built for one purpose: to shove a tank weighing tens of tons through mud. On the other side is Germany's Maybach HL230 P45, a water-cooled gasoline V12 at 23.1 liters, 700 horsepower, made to carry Tiger and Panther formations. The German engine runs smoothly and pulls hard, but it gulps fuel like water, turning refueling logistics into a nightmare. This lineup proves one thing: mechanics doesn't know how to lie. From the clacking hit-and-miss beat, to the shriek of Detroit two-strokes, to the brutal pull of military V12s, every block has a clear way of doing its work.
Awesome. Got $1 worth here? Oh yeah.
After watching this list, which design do you respect most? Do you prefer calm, heavy steadiness? Or do you crave sharp, aggressive RPM? Leave a comment for the engine history. Whichever engine name gets mentioned the most, the channel will make a full episode breaking it down bolt by bolt. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.